Good morning, good morning. Thanks for being early, those of you that are on with us already. We are super excited to be hosting you. I'm going to bring in the Facebook audience. So welcome one and all, grab your coffee. You get to have breakfast with us today. Especially those of you on the West Coast that are tuning in, it's pretty early for you. All right, let us know where you're tuning in from, everyone. I know Rich and Brandy would love to see who all their new friends are. Take note of the chat box, the Q&A box. We have just a minute to go. I'm going to pull this up on my phone so I can keep an eye on the questions. There we are. There's always a delay. There we go. I got that going. Looks like we've got 3 people watching this already on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Where's all our friends from? Wow, look at that. South Jersey, Boston, Minnesota, Rhode Island, Wisconsin. Got your New Englanders, Rich, in the house.
Yeah, we got some people with snow too. My son's school was canceled today. We don't have the 2 feet that I saw somebody else post, but we got some snow.
Yes. So those of you that are at home, now you have to homeschool your kids today all of a sudden. A lot of that going on. We've got North Carolina. Anyone that's pretty much south of, I guess, probably Tennessee is going to have a lot better weather than the rest of us in the north. 1.5 feet of snow, Beverly says. Wow, I hope you have a good snowblower. That's a tough thing. That's why I live in a condo. Somebody else shovels. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to the RE/MAX Business Builder series. We are excited to be back. My name is Michelle Hoyt. I am Manager of Education and Development for RE/MAX INTEGRA. We are the largest independent region of RE/MAX LLC. We are Midwest, New England, and all of Europe. However, we are all RE/MAX, and we welcome every one of you that has come to us from other regions, from other states, and other parts of the country. And I can't wait for you to meet our panelists today. We have a lot to talk about. Today is all about sphere of influence prospecting. Ooh, that's a big term, right? Well, what that essentially means is really staying in touch with the people that you already know best. There's already trust. There's already a relationship. And how do you take advantage of that? How do you make the most of that? But at the same time, maintaining those relationships, which is what's really important. Before we get started here, before we meet our panelists, I do want to quickly mention those of you on Zoom. A lot of you have found the chat box already. Please feel free to ask our panelists questions as we go through this today. And I'll be watching on Facebook as well to see if any questions come in. So they are 2 superstars on the RE/MAX network. So we're going to take some time to really get to know them, and they're here to share with each and every one of you. Today, we are going to talk about, as I mentioned, sphere of influence prospecting, but we are talking specifically about the RE/MAX First app. Now, some of you have probably heard of it. You're saying, what's this First app? What's it all about? We're going to make sure you know all about it. By the end of this session, you will be running to sign up for it, I promise you. So we are going to get started right away, and we're going to meet our panelists. Let's go ahead and start with Brandy. Brandy, please introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know all about you, where you're from, what your market's like, which RE/MAX office you're part of, and anything else you want us to know, like hidden talents or anything else, fun facts. Brandy.
All right, well, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. I'm Brandy Liss, and I'm located in League City, Texas, right outside of Houston, in between Houston and Galveston. Our weather here is not bad at all. I was telling her it was a little chilly this morning when I took the garbage out in my pajamas, but it was like 47, so I really can't complain. No snow. I've been with RE/MAX 3 years as of January 27th, so 3 years this year. And I've been in real estate for 6 years. I was sharing with them, I feel like I'm a toddler. I was an infant, and then I started crawling, and now I'm walking, but not quite running, but been in real estate for 6 years. Prior to that, my family, we owned a business, a local business here in Texas. And even prior to that, I was in healthcare. I was a healthcare administrator, compliance officer, and nursing home administrator. So I took a leap of faith and got out of healthcare and got out of the family business and started doing real estate. So I have laid in the fetal position and cried over real estate. And then I have, celebrated, and it's been great. It's been a huge journey. I started a team this last year. I have two members on my team, and they're both relatively new agents. And so it's a great topic, because talking about sphere of influence, kickstarting your business, and then also agents that have been in the business for a while, and people as successful as Rich will share with you, that reconnection and the relationship building that you have to do in real estate. It's not all about selling, it's about relationships. And that's one thing that we are going to talk about today on, First IO and sphere of influence. So I don't know that I have any hidden talents. I do sing loud and proud and not very well. I do dance a lot. I love Zoom because you don't have to wear pants and nobody knows. So that's the benefit of Zoom. But I don't know if I have any other hidden talents. I'm just a hot mess. Actually, I've graduated to a spicy disaster, quite honestly. So that's it.
I love it. Well, just so everyone knows, I saw Brandy, and some of you might have seen her too. She was featured on a recent Good Morning Remax with Nick Bailey, our Chief Customer Officer. And the reason she was featured is because she can attribute a huge amount of her income and volume last year alone just to using the First app. So we'll let her talk more about that. But Brandy, we are so thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Remax Integra's very own Rich. Rich, please introduce yourself to all of your new friends and Remax family. Let us know about you, your market, your history with Remax, and anything else you want us to know.
Sure. I'm not I don't have the descriptors that Brandy does. So I'm from Colchester, Vermont. I'm born and raised in Colchester. My parents ran a boutique real estate company and a very successful construction company. So I grew up on a job site. I actually went to school for architecture. My history was in building. Spent a lot of time in summers doing all of those fun things. I got licensed in 2005, and I joined a Remax franchise here as an owner in 2012. I'm very lucky. I've got an amazing team that helps support me and all of the things that we're doing here in Vermont. For people who are familiar with Vermont, we are getting some snow. So I'm not like Brandy. When I take the trash out, normally there's some shoveling that's involved before I can get to the end of the driveway. And my kids are actually home from school. So hopefully my wife's got them outside, so there's no extra noises on the inside, but I'm sure a lot of us are dealing with that. Our market, I'm sure, is similar to a lot of yours. We really don't have much inventory right now. So reaching out to past clients, we've got some time to do that. We need more inventory in our marketplace currently. Hobbies, I spend time during the summer with a place called Camp Tecumseh. And I'll just put a little plug out there. We have an ice golf tournament that we're going to be running at the end of this month. So if anybody's got some time, go check out Vermont Ice Golf. Me and some friends run a fundraiser for Camp Tecumseh, which is a place for kids who have or have had cancer. Try to have a little fun here in Vermont with the cold weather and the snow.
Wow. Well, I want to see video of the ice golf. For sure.
Be sure to share that.
Oh, absolutely. And what's as far as inventory goes, you mentioned that you need inventory. What's your average market time right now? Is it hours? Is it days?
It's days, but in looking at the actual and how that works, a lot of times the property we put on the market on a Wednesday, no showings until Friday, and then people won't be accepting offers until Wednesday next week. So that artificially makes the days look like it was on for 7 or 8 days, when in reality, I think if they'd allowed showings, it probably would be 24, 48 hours, especially properties that are priced kind of appropriately. They don't even have to be priced perfectly, just kind of appropriately. They're still moving really fast. Our median days on market is 8 right now.
Wow. Very similar, I'm sure, to what a lot of your peers are experiencing. Well, thank you so much, both of you. All right, so let's start with you, Brandy, on this. When you first got in the business, and I'd like you to tell your story of when you actually first got in the business, where you were and how you came to Remax, but how did you let everyone that you already know know that you are now a real estate expert and in a position to help them?
So I started in the business, and I started with our big Keller Williams, and then I transitioned to a boutique agency, and then I left there and went to Better Homes and Gardens, and each one I only was there for a year, and I've landed at Remax now. I've been here for 3 years, so that's a huge testament that I found my home, right? But I started in the business. I'm not shy. I don't know if you can tell that. I'm not shy. But, I started in the business, and there was a lot of pressure on me because we had owned a family business, and people thought that I was just going to be right away jumping out there and have all this sphere of influence. But I didn't know, I lacked the confidence, and I didn't know how to really approach that sphere of influence. So even though I say I'm not shy, I really had no confidence. I didn't know what I was doing, but I went out there and I started calling people in my phone. But I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to start the conversation. I threw money at every shiny thing that came my way. It was like taking spaghetti and throwing it at the wall and see what would stick. And some of it would stick, and I'd say, okay, well, we'll try that. And then as it would roll off the wall and fall on the floor, I was like, well, that was money not well spent. So I have spent tons of money. I can tell you what not to do in real estate and where not to spend some money, maybe, and what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And in the bottom, at the end of the day, it was all about those relationships. It was all about the follow up. It was all about it didn't end when the transaction ended. It went on, and it was all about learning to work by referral as well. So it's not just about trying to get business from your sphere of influence. It's trying to get your sphere of influence to help promote you as well, and developing that relationship where you're not a secret agent and they're out there sharing they're helping to promote you as well. So I've learned a lot. I've spent a lot of money. I probably would be debt free right now if I didn't pay for so much other stuff. But First.io is funny because it came out last year, and I was like, oh no, another shiny thing. I was kind of skeptical, but they gave me 3 months free, or they gave us, not just me, I wasn't special, but they gave us 3 months free. So I was like, what the heck, let's try it. And I use it every day, and I feel like it has me competing against myself. So when you go in and you see a win, or you go in and you see a loss, you're like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? What should I have said? And it just really kind of inspired me. And so I use it every day, and it's been a huge success. And I use it in probably not always the most traditional methods. I use it in different ways. But it's kind of this tool that it just kind of probes you and prompts you to do things that you wouldn't normally do.
And just so everyone knows, we're going to take a deeper dive into that. We're actually going to show first on the screen, and Brandy and Rich are both going to talk about their specific strategies with that really work for them. So thank you, Brandy. So Rich, I know that you came from your legacy in the business, and coming from your background. When you first decided that, okay, I want to get licensed and I want to just go right into this, how did you let everyone know?
I struggled with that. I think now, because I've been doing it for so long, it's a lot easier for me to explain what I do, and a lot of people in the area know what I do just because I grew up here. I really wasn't very good at telling people what I was doing back then. I mean, social media was relatively new. I don't think I joined Facebook until 2008, 2007 or 2008. So I'd already been licensed for a little while. It was very slow, and I had some challenges trying to let people know or have those conversations with people about, working with me. And I still struggle with that a little bit. And I say that with confidence. I am not the person that is going to shove real estate down somebody else's throat. I prefer to be in relationship with someone or have a connection with somebody before I open the door and have that conversation. I like to be, the way I think of it, I like to be invited back to dinner parties and not be somebody who gets or dominates conversations, trying to explain to people that if they're going to buy or sell, they need to work with me. And I hope that's part of, who I am and who my team is. We're not about shoving it down everybody's throat, and anybody that will listen, we're going to talk to. It's more of a, a thoughtful approach, and really trying to earn long-term clients over the short term. You know, he's there and he's available, so let's work with him. So it's been a learning process over the years.
Sounds like it for sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the word challenges, because that's just it. You don't want to be constantly selling. You don't want to be perceived that way. So Rich, let's expand a little bit more upon some of those challenges. Before you got first, and it's still relatively new, what did you do to actually stay in touch with your database? Did you send things? How frequently did you touch your database?
That's a great question. So over the years, I've added to how I track relationships, and we've gotten better. It used to be just an Excel spreadsheet where I would keep, you know, the normal things like maybe their birthdays and the day that they closed on their house, and now we've expanded into tracking the name of their pets, their favorite snack foods, their favorite drinks, their favorite places to go out to eat, hobbies that they might have. So my database now, if you've purchased a house with my team, and we've gotten all of that information, we can then gift their favorite restaurant. We can gift their favorite candy bar. I even go into detail. I know most of the attorneys in our area and most of the staff people that are at their offices. I know what their favorite snacks are. I know what their favorite drinks are. It's nice to be able to give something to someone that's their favorite thing or the things that they care about. I mean, most people like chocolate. Most people like, you know, certain little snacks that you can stop by, and it's always nice when you give it to them. But it means something more if it is their favorite snack or it is their favorite restaurant. So we've worked really hard to build our database around what people are actually wanting. And I struggled a little bit from the start, because that feels to me, as soon as you start to collect this data from people and you know you're going to use it, it almost feels a little disingenuous, or at least to me it did at first. I'm collecting information on people that I may or may not, sorry, I'm getting a phone call here, that I may or may not have that, you know, true connection with. So I got over that, and I've started to collect that, and now we have, you know, thousands of people on our database with birthdays and favorite candy bars and favorite drinks and favorite restaurants. And when we get referrals, we can actually gift back to that, which I feel is important.
No, and obviously shows that you pay attention to the details, and I bet your clients absolutely love that and they appreciate that. So that's fantastic. Did you also, like Brandy, when you first got licensed, did you start buying leads from realtor.com or Zillow or any other place?
When I first got licensed, pay-per-click was like the heyday of PPC. I did get involved in PPC rather early, and I remember being able to buy leads really inexpensively, and not many other people were doing it in the area. That's kind of gone away. Leads are really expensive now. That is still something that I do. That's not I'm not averse to that. That's, you know, part of the marketing that we do, but it's not a big leg of our stool, or it's not a primary source of our business. But it is something that we still continue to do. So yes, I've spent tons of money on things that I wish I could get back. Websites that are no longer up and running, and I got into the URL buying craze. So I own, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 URLs
Wow.
that are useless now, although I just can't get rid of them because I already bought them, right? So you might as well keep them.
Keep them and maybe sell them to someone else.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Thank
Yeah.
you. Brandy, what were you doing before first as far as touching your database? Were you also doing things where you're sending out, or just maybe touch points? Could you talk us through some of that? And could you expand a little bit more on what you were doing before with all those leads you were buying?
Oh, well, the leads I was buying, so it's so hard to convert leads. I mean, the rate of conversion is really low. And it's exhausting, the time that you put into that, the communication, the texting, the emailing, and then nobody's responding back. So I really prefer nurturing the leads that I have and the past clients and working with them. And I do a lot of what Rich does as well. In fact, it's funny, I was sitting here looking. So I have this, it's very archaic. So I need to get with Rich and figure out what he's doing, because I have this little like tickler file, and it's all my birthdays, purchase anniversaries. It's got a little Starbucks gift card, about thinking of you cards, this is like, I feel like I'm in kindergarten. So Rich, we need to graduate. I need your help. But I do send out birthday cards and purchase anniversary cards. It's really important to realize that even prior to COVID, I feel like that's a bad word. Even prior to COVID, we had lost touch with people. We're so techno savvy and social media driven that we've lost that personal touch. And I think it's very important. And I think that people really do appreciate you getting to know what they like and remembering their birthdays, anniversaries, what their kids' names are, what their dogs, like, sending them stuff like that. I try to take it a step further. We can't really do what we call pop buys or going to their house and leaving things because of the current environment. So this year I did a couple of fun things where I could bring people through. And I did one that was pizza and beer bring you cheer. And I got a $5 Little Caesars pizza and 2 cheap beers, like per person. And they did like a drive-through, and I was able to take, pictures with them. And we were very, good about following protocols of safety and all that, but they got pizza and beer. I did a pie pickup this year, and I got to see all my clients this year that are local and close by. I did do a client appreciation, but I kept it very small, and we went through axes, and there was alcohol. So axes and alcohol, I think, is a good combination for referrals. I don't know. But I did try to do some things that were socially interactive. I really try hard to keep connection and top of mind. But like Rich said, it's not all about shoving real estate down your throat. I don't talk to people about real estate all the time. It's all about those relationships and being their friends. In fact, they're my best friends now. Like, I can't even tell you who I was friends with 6 years ago, because now it's all my clients that have bought and sold houses with me are my best friends. And we hang out and we do things and we talk to each other and we take care of each other. And then, they do get a postcard every month, and it's a seasonal one. It's not truly house related or anything, but it's a seasonal postcard, but it does have my mugshot on it. And it does remind them that I'm a realtor. And they do get a newsletter from me, and they do get a magazine on a quarterly basis. And that's everybody. And then I do the Children's Miracle Network with every transaction. And I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, oh my gosh, my child or what. And it wasn't anything that I knew going into it. And so it's kind of a cool thing after the fact to hear that they had a child or a family member that had benefited from the Children's Miracle Network. So it's just a really cool thing. And I think it's just really understanding the relationship aspect of this and understanding the connection that you need to keep making. And it's quit trying to be a salesperson all the time and be a human being and a friend, and a subtle reminder here and there is always encouraged, but definitely relationships.
That's
So
great.
did I answer all your questions?
You
I
did.
like
You
I like how you
did.
said that. Just be a human being. That's the key to relationship building anyway. At least I think so.
For sure. Let's talk about when you both first heard about First, and I guess what essentially sold you on it. Rich, we'll start with you on that one.
Sure. I was right around the start of COVID, so it was sometime in April that I downloaded the app. I had to get over I always hesitate before I'm going to give all of my contacts to another application, but I got over that, and I plugged it in. It was amazing how well it did. Just going back and stitching all of those contacts that I have on my phone with the database that it runs back with, or the multiple databases that it runs. And for me, it was really good to see all those people that I haven't reconnected with, or that weren't in my database that I sold a home to in 2005 and 2006 and 2007 and 8, those back when I really didn't have a really good resource to plug my past clients into. And it's been nice for me to reconnect and reach out to those people who I do care about. It's just, we all get busy, life gets busy, I've got 2 boys now at home, so there we go.
Yeah.
Things start to move a little quicker, and life moves quicker, and I just haven't had a chance to go back. So for me, First was an opportunity to just sit down and kind of run through my database, and it helped remind me of all of those people that I knew, because it pulls all of the contacts from your phone. So it allowed me to take all those people and actually sit down and methodically go through and reach out and say hello. And that's really all I've been doing with it. I'm not reaching out to people saying, hey, you should sell your house. I'm reaching out to people saying, Happy New Year, or Merry Christmas, or Happy Thanksgiving, or how are the kids? Or, I throw in little things that I remembered about them in the conversations, and I'm texting them. Some of them I'm emailing, some of them I'm just taking as a reminder, and I'm going to Facebook and I'm messaging them on Facebook. It's been a combination of things that I've been using, and I've been trying to communicate with those people that I've missed in ways that I remembered communicating with them before. And then of course, with my new clients, it's a little easier to stay in touch with them because I'm probably already in communication with them. But it's been a great reminder of all those people that I had contacted years ago.
For sure. Well, and we've got it showing here on the screen. So can you talk us through, Rich, give us some examples of names that have come up on your first app of individuals that it's been a while since you've talked to them, and maybe what your feelings are around that, and also how that's translated into you reminding them that you are in a position to help them in real estate.
Naturally, conversations have gone where people have, if somebody's in the mood to communicate, they will communicate with you. So even if you reach out to somebody and wish them, a happy Thanksgiving, for instance, there's so much real estate in the news right now. People ask what's happening in our marketplace. And I've taken the opportunity to check in and say, hey, have you guys refinanced since the last time or since your purchase? Because if it's been 5 or 6 years, there's opportunities for them to do well. Honestly, it's the opportunity to help them, maybe give them something that's going to benefit them. So I've helped a lot of past clients get in contact with lenders to refinance because that's the right move for them. Moving isn't necessarily the best thing right now. I've had conversations with people just giving them updates on what's happening in the market. I've done some market analyses for people who really shouldn't move, but we're debating on whether or not it was the thing to do. I mean, it's again, we're adding the human element to it. We're in real estate. We know our markets. We know what we're doing. And we're just giving those people, or at least the connection, once we've made the connection, we're just giving those people honest to goodness information to help them make good decisions. Sometimes that leads to us having business. Sometimes that leads to us just helping somebody. And I am okay with both of those or all of those outcomes.
That's great. Well, and one of the things that, as we were just talking about, is that you kind of need an icebreaker to get reacquainted with someone. First of all, this is tied to your phone contacts. These are people that you're closely connected to, whether it's past clients or college friends or high school friends or just people in your neighborhood, family friends. These are all people that you're already in touch with. And I'm sure each and every one of you could share a story where you find out someone you went to high school with that you were pretty good friends with just sold their house with somebody else. And those end up becoming lost opportunities. What the first app is, it's actually predictive analytics. When you hear those words, you're thinking, ooh, somebody's spying on me. Well, if you ever Googled anything, it's too late because you're already being watched. We're all being watched. But this system, what it will do is it will put names in front of you that are ultimately going to really get you reconnected, but then also you're reminding them that you're going to be top of mind with them when they have real estate needs. When you open up a contact record, first of all, there's a star rating system. I know Brandy and Rich use this quite a bit. There's a star rating system, and the more stars, the better, but it's going to show you who's most likely to sell or move. And there's actually icebreakers in here that these text templates are in here. These are scripts, if you would. And walking through this will help you. So there's actually, this one just says, hey, your name has popped up. This one is perfect. I mean, it's short and sweet. It's been too long. Let's get together. Let's have coffee. Here's another one. Now, Brandy, I know you use these, right?
I do use them. I'm not a scripted person. I like it to be more personal. So I use this as a guide, like to kickstart the conversation. So if you go back to the first one where it says your name popped up in my database, or your name popped up, I just used that one a couple of days ago, and I was like, hey, your name came up and I just wanted to see how you were doing. And especially in this environment, it's kind of nice to check on people. But I make it my own. I kind of tweak it up a little bit, but it gives me the kickstart to the conversation if I don't know what to say. I love the second one that says, hey, it's been too long. And I've used that with a couple of people. And I said, you know, what are you doing? You want to meet for breakfast? Or you want to go have a cup of coffee? So I do like that. Again, I try to make it less salesy, because if it is somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, I don't want to throw real estate out there right away. I kind of want to just rekindle that relationship with them. Another thing I like about this, as you're scrolling, you can see there's a house and there's usually an address. And so I've used that as a conversation. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Are you still living at XYZ address? And sometimes they'll respond, no, I moved 2 years ago, or I got a divorce, or whatever. And then, but if they do say, oh yeah, I'm still living there. And then I put them in my mail out database, and I'll mail them something. And it might be a thinking of you card, or it might be that I put them on my seasonal postcard mail out. So I love that it provides me with a little address, because it does give me a reason to research them or communicate with them or reach out and rekindle. And then I can also put them into another form of touching them. That sounded weird. I like touching people. So I do like that concept where it gives you that address. Another thing I do on the star rating is when it says it's 3 stars, and I'm kind of looking like, I sold them a house 2 years ago. What analytic is playing in the background that's putting them as a 3-star? And then I go like a crazy person and stalk them and try to find out what's going on in their life. I go look at their Facebook page, because I know you guys realize everything's based on algorithms. So you don't see all of your friends on Facebook. If you're not liking, commenting, and sharing on their stuff, you're not going to see their stuff on a regular basis. So sometimes you kind of lose touch even in social media. So I'll go and check them out on social media, and sometimes I can see, oh, they're going through a divorce, or they're changing jobs, or there's something going on, and that's why they're a 3-star. And then I can reconnect with them, like what Rich said, maybe a Facebook message, or maybe just liking a comment or commenting on one of their social media posts, and it's another way to reconnect. So it's kind of a cool way to become a stalker.
For sure, in a good way. That's right. That's awesome.
Yes.
So I'd love for both of you to talk about this screen right here, and then we'll go ahead and go right back to the panel view. But I wanted you to both talk through, see how it says deals won and deals missed. And I've talked to a lot of your peers about this too, who have just gotten first, and then they see this, and it's disheartening in a way, but it's also a good reminder that, wow. And the reason this shows up here, by the way, so predictive analytics, the way FIRST works is it analyzes the behaviors and the data and the information on these contacts at over 700 different data points, whether it's assessor's office, county tax records, it's public records, it's their social media behaviors. It's not spying on them in private ways per se, but this is all public information. And it looks at trends in that person's neighborhood, the turnover rate and that sort of thing. But what this will do is identify through all of those means if that person has either moved recently or is about to move, and it pulls all of that data in. So Rich, how has this little dashboard right here worked for you?
For me, it's a good motivator, and it's always fun for me to go back and see who is in. So I won in the last 12 months out of my database. It says I won 169 deals. It said I lost 31 deals. So those 31 are bothering me. So I will go back and I will actually see what deals I've lost, and I'm okay. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm far from it. But going through the lost deals, I was able to figure out, who it was. Some of them were real estate agents, because I do keep real estate agents in my phones. I'm obviously not going to win the sale of another real estate agent's home. That's not part of my target market. And there are some other people that, I knew sold their properties a while ago, and the database just connected them to that house because they'd had them there. It's just a good reminder. And for me, it's a little motivator of all the opportunities that are out there, and working, the more I work this, the less I should lose if I'm being good at it. So I use it as a motivational tool, although I know Brandy's looks a lot better than mine. I'm at 85% of my database. I think she's somewhere in the 90 range.
I think that you also have a much larger database. And also, I think I've never thought I was a competitive person, but I find that I compete with myself. So every day I have to go in and look at my wins and losses. And then when I have a loss, I research it. And so, and I confessed earlier that I did delete a couple of my losses because one was he sold to an iBuyer and I couldn't compete with that. And another one, it wasn't accurate information. They had sold their home 3 or 4 years ago and it was still showing as their address because it hadn't updated in the system. So I didn't lose that deal because I am still working with that person. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a text message too, but the wins and then the losses, and it says 98%. And then the loss that I do have on there, that was an hour away. The house was over an hour away. And so I understand it. I was still a little hurt because I'll drive an hour. I'll drive 2 or 3 hours. I will go wherever. So, but I understood, I talked to her and, my goal is to try to help her find a buyer for her house. So, it's all good. But yeah, it motivates me. I'm competing with myself and it gets me to kind of reach out. And then when I did have a loss, I was like, okay, let me see what happened. And, I don't want to call them and be like, hey, why didn't you choose me as your realtor? But I'll go online and I'll see what's going on. And there has been a couple of times because I'm actually actively working with a couple of people that I lost on. I was like, we have a contract. No, I didn't say that, but it's like, what's going on? And she's like, I lived in that house 5 years ago, or, we're divorced. And she's like, that's why I'm buying a house now with you, because I don't have that house anymore. I went, oh, okay. So, but it gets you to reconnect and it just really keeps you motivated because you want to get in touch with those people. And like, Rich was mentioning, a lot of them are agents and you can go in and mark them as agents. So I do try to do that. I am, a self-proclaimed inappropriately like I'm like a chihuahua on crack. Okay. So I move really fast and I have a short attention span, like, squirrels. And so I can't sit down and just clean up my database. I can't just sit down and go through each one and categorize them. If you are very organized and that's your way, that would be ideal. Like I would recommend, if you get this app, go through, categorize your people, sort them. It will make your life a lot easier. I, on the other hand, on a daily basis, go in there or if I'm, during a commercial of a show or something, I might go and sort my database, or if I come across a name, I'll just do it at that time. So there's different ways you can use it. There's no wrong way, but if you are very organized and not like me and not a self-proclaimed chihuahua on crack, then you can get this up and running and really most effective in that manner.
Well, and Brandy, I wanted to bring Brandy on for a lot of reasons, because first of all, you've only lost one deal. I mean, that's amazing right there. And you just started using the app, a year ago. What was your award level or your volume level last year?
So I made Platinum Club for 2020, which was great. And I think I had over 12 million, maybe 15 million, but I think my app says 12. But I had some off-market things and different things. And then a couple of the team deals don't show up in my first IO app. So I can't really base it off that. But my first IO says 11 million something. So it was a good year. And it was funny. Yeah. I mean, I kind of rested on my laurels at the last quarter and I'm regretting it because I feel like, I wanted to go on vacation and I didn't want to be super busy. But even on vacation, I still logged in every day and checked out my first. It's such a mess. It's addictive. It's like a game almost.
So it seems. Well, so there's some questions coming through. Thanks, everyone. And Rich, you're doing a great job. I'll just let you answer all the questions.
Oh, yeah. And I apologize, Rich.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, but you are doing a great job.
Yes.
And I will tell you, somebody brought up text messages, and texting, you have a higher rate of return on your response rate is through texting. The social media concept on here is you can do a social connection, and that's like, messaging or whatever, but just realize that texting is probably going to get you the highest response.
For sure. It is. And let's talk about the logistics of the first app. So some of you are asking, how do I get the first app? It's first.io. It's kind of a strange domain name, but it's first.io is how you go there. And you need to sign up and you'll be, of course, RE/MAX owns the first app. None of our competitors have it. They want it. They used to use it before RE/MAX bought First about a year and a half ago, but it is ours. We do own it. It is, as far as the cost of first, it's free for the first 90 days. It is so worth the try. After that, it's $456 for the year, which is about $39 a month. I can assure you, Brandy and Rich will tell you they spent a lot more than $39 a month for leads that did not pan out in their past. It is so worth it. So what would you say is the return on your investment, Brandy and Rich, on this app?
It's 100% return. I mean, from what I've paid and what my results are, it's paid for itself time and time again.
I'm sure it has. Rich?
I don't have I'm not going to stick a number on it. The way I look at it is, if I was going to go out and buy birthday cards for all these people that I have connected with, if a birthday card's a couple of bucks, just my ability to reconnect with people, you know, if I connect with 10 people in a month, that was well worth the $39 for what the app costs. And let's be honest, it's for those of us that spend money on other things, $39 a month for an opportunity to connect with people that already know you, like you, and trust you, is way easier than trying to pay for some online leads that are frustrated and angry that you're calling them because they filled out a box, whether it's on Zillow or realtor.com or whatever that is. So it's if you want to be in the relationship game, and that's part of how you work your business, and I understand it doesn't work for everybody. It's a try it out for the first 3 months, and if you don't like it, then move on to something else, and no harm, no foul. It's not an expensive tool for us to use.
For sure. And for those of you that are new to the business or newer, which Brandy admittedly is, and she's doing an amazing job, platinum in her third year at RE/MAX, that's incredible. And Rich has had huge success over the years as well. It is something worth looking into, because I'm sure when you first get into business, you get solicited like crazy from all these companies that want to sell you leads, that want to charge you $500 a month to do your website. They want to do all kinds of things. And yes, you have to make an investment in yourself, but this is a way to take people that are already in your phone. This is not even necessarily your CRM. These are people that are in your phone already, people that you text, that you communicate with on a regular basis. And that's what's great. You can actually import 2 or 3 different types of databases into the first app. It's not just your one and only that's on your phone. And that's what's really nice. So maybe teams could think about doing this, and that works out really good. And Rich just put the actual URL in. Thank you, Rich. Again, it's first.io. There's actually quite a few videos on First on RE/MAX University, if you want to take a look at that. And I do have to call out the fact that right now it's only available in the US. So if you're watching us from Canada, my apologies deeply, but right now it is just for the US. And it's not intentional, that's just the way it's set up. It's only set up to analyze data points that are, and the records that are here in the US. But one of the questions I thought was really good is, do you have to have an address on the contact, which I see Brandy actually answered. And the truth is you don't. Again, with 700 different data points, it's going to be able to identify that address and pull it in for that contact record. I mean, it certainly helps, but this is kind of a good way to use the app to do that for you. So David is asking, can First import contacts from top producer? Not a direct integration, but you can export your contacts and get them inside of there in different ways. By the way, you do have to connect your MLS ID number to the First app. So this cannot be used by perhaps someone on the administrative staff if they're not licensed. This needs to, because again, it gives you access to that data that it is that you're looking to capture business with. Let's see what other questions we have. Thank you, everyone. I know Rich and Brandy definitely want to hear from you. Does this app integrate with any other RE/MAX platform? There is a plan, sort of medium term, I don't want to say long term, for the First app to merge up with the Boosh CRM. See, that's the thing about this. So the First app, again, is tied to your phone. Your phone contacts don't necessarily match 100% your Boosh CRM or whatever CRM you're using. So you have to think about that, because remember, like what Brandy said, if you're getting all these online leads coming in, even from remax.com, they're strangers, they're not in your phone yet. They're not going to match up. So this is what they're looking to do at the development team, is to merge those two together. And not one's going to replace one or the other. They're just going to merge together and talk to each other. Let's see some of these other questions. Rich, you want to read through some of these as well, or Brandy?
I've just been answering them if they've been coming in,
Yeah,
just because everybody else is still talking. So yeah.
no worries.
You have,
We want you to talk too.
I can't see any of the questions on Facebook because when I turn that on, I get a reverb from what we're saying and
Oh,
what's
no
going on.
problem. I'm looking at Facebook as well. Rob Bergeron's watching. Hey, Rob. And
Rob?
yep, he called you a rock star. And Andrea Scanlon from Minnesota says she's a huge fan of First IO. That's awesome. Thank you for the testimonial. Katie Robinson's watching with us. Hey, Katie. And I hope some of your friends from Texas are watching too, Brandy.
I hope so.
So Liz is asking, we covered 2 MLSs. Can you enter both? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not 100%. Here's what I would do, by the way, for support on First. This is a product that is developed and supported by RE/MAX LLC. I would reach out to product support at remax.com. Product support at remax.com and ask that question to them. And it is something I'd like to know as well. I don't know that. I have not seen that so far, but it is something, you definitely can attach at least one. We know that. But yes. All right, so let's talk through. We like to hear all the success stories, but I'm just curious, Brandy and Rich, have you ever had someone that you were really close to list their home with someone else or go buy a home with someone else? And if so, how did you handle that? What did you say? And what was the mood?
I cried.
Yeah, we'll start with Brandy.
No, I cry. I mean, so it's happened to me twice, and in both situations, quite honestly, it was for the best interest of the buyer. And I remember the husband and the wife, they came to me personally to tell me this is what we're doing, and the husband cried, and so that made me cry even more. But it was just a situation where they were going with new construction. The new construction had a relationship with another brokerage that could list their home, and if it didn't sell by a certain point, they would buy the home from them. I'm not there where I can buy your house if it doesn't sell within a certain time frame. I just can't compete with that. But it was heartbreaking. And then I have had a situation where another friend went with someone else, and it's like a good friend, like a very close friend, and she was very sweet about it. And she said this was a hard decision, and she said, but this other agent has been in our family, family friend for 20 something years, and I had to make a hard decision, and I am so sorry. And so, I mean, both times I cried, but then I moved on, and I totally understood it, and I totally respect it, and they're still my friends, and I still love them dearly. But I do, I really try hard to be more of a friend than a realtor. So sometimes there's a disconnect. They see me as their friend, and they don't think of me as a realtor, that this is my livelihood. And so it is important to put those little subtle nudges out there and those little reminders. And so once you reconnect or redevelop that relationship, don't be afraid to say, something about the market, something about what you do for a living. Just throw it out there, share it. So
Definitely. Rich, how about you? Let's talk a little bit more about those lost opportunities that I know that stings, right? When you see those. Have you had any specific instances where you were totally caught off guard by someone that went with someone else?
I think if you're in real estate for any period of time and you've done a good job at connecting with a lot of people, it's inevitable and it's going to happen. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it just is part of it. I mean, I don't know. I think everybody's a little different. Some people say you develop a tougher skin. For me, it's really, it depends on who it is and what the scenario is. Does it always hurt? Yes, it's our way of earning a living. Maybe I didn't do as good of a job as I should have at explaining, what I do to that person. So I might be the one to blame, or they might know, they just might not want us to be part of that transaction because we're so close. I think in our industry, a lot of people take it as a negative and that they're going to cut that person out of their life. Where I've had very close friends sell their property with someone else because they didn't want me to know the struggles that they were having, and it was embarrassing. So I think all situations are a little different. I think if you come at it from an angle of trying to understand rather than feeling like you were the one that got the short end of the stick, I've often found that sometimes coming at it from an angle of trying to understand why and learning from it, it can make it better. Does that mean that I haven't been scarred by some and some that they absolutely should have worked with me? Of course. Throw the stuff over your shoulder and move on to something else. It's not worth the time, energy, and effort. Although I say that and I've got a lot of gray hairs. So I say I throw it over my shoulder and I try to move forward, but some of it's completely inevitable and it just will happen as part of doing business.
For sure. Well, and the thing is, this is exactly what we're talking about. They may have gone with someone else now, but let's fast forward 3 years to 5 years when they might be in a position to move again. And that maybe their agent didn't keep in touch with them. It could be another opportunity, right? Or perhaps you could parlay that into an opportunity to ask for a referral.
Sure.
I think, yeah.
In that exact scenario that I was talking about with my very close friend, I have had way too much life experience with them to have one real estate transaction be the end of the relationship. And since that point, he did purchase a condo, his first condo without me. Since that point, I've now done deals with him again because he's moved a few times, and I've done deals with his family. So it's I think you make the decision on how that relationship's going to move forward. And sometimes it's good to move away and unhealthy relationships, walk away from them. But sometimes it's not worth throwing away all of that time, energy, effort, and memories and all of that. It's not worth throwing it away over a real estate transaction. There will be more, and those people have friends too. So choose your moves wisely.
I like it. Great advice. And that's where the first app really will help you and put names in front of you that you've lost touch with. I mean, even if it's been just a year. So during the pandemic, I made it a point to reach out to people I hadn't been in touch with in a while to see how they were doing. Brandy said it best. You're a human being. And this is just going to remind you of all these people that are part of your past that can really essentially help you build your business, and you get to reestablish and get reacquainted. So a lot of wins all around. Let's talk about those that are brand new to the business, and not only just using First, but how do they get started? What advice would you give? We'll start with you, Brandy, to someone who's brand new. Now that you can look back and say, I wish I had done things differently. If someone's brand new to the business and says to you, well, I don't really have a database. I haven't been in the business for 20 years. How can I do this? What would you?
All right. And I think, Jared asked that question too. He said, I have a small database. So look in your phone, everybody look in your phone and throw your numbers out there. How many contacts do you have in that phone? I mean, at some point, the person in your phone meant enough to you that you got their phone number. It might be an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, but they might need to buy a house if y'all don't dislike each other. But you have plumbers. These are hidden sources of wealth, people that we don't necessarily think about. Oh my gosh, Rich, 2,341 people. I mean, there are so many hidden sources of wealth in there. We don't think about, contacting a plumber that came to our house last year when our toilets clogged, but you know what? They need a place to live. So reach out to them. Remind them, hey, and it's a great collaboration. If you've got a lot of service people, contractors in your phone, they can be investors. They're looking to buy or sell. They have family and friends. Reach out to them. Don't be afraid. You may want to create the relationship a little bit better, but say, hey, I'm building a database for my clients and I'm trying to get service people so that when somebody needs a plumber, I'd like to partner with you. And that will give you leverage with them where they're going to want to partner with you. And if they've got somebody looking to buy or sell. So don't be afraid to reach out to those people. Hidden sources of wealth is in that phone. Contact them. They don't have to necessarily be friends and family. We get so wrapped up in that sphere of influence as our friends and family. It is people that we have any kind of relationship with, whether it's short-term or ongoing. And those people were warm enough. They're not cold contacts. They're not cold leads. They're warm. And some of them are hot and they're on fire. So you need to just put it out there, create the relationship, collaborate. look in your phone. Jared, how many people do you have in your phone? Start talking to them. That's all you've got to do. And that is the first step with any new agent. Both my team members are new agents. And like I said, I'm still a toddler. I'm beyond crawling. I've started walking. And sometimes I fall down. Okay. But I get back up, and this is one way to get back up. And I love talking. I mean, I don't like talking on the phone. I know that would be contrary to popular belief, because it sounds like I like to talk a lot. I like the quiet, but I'm a texter, and I will text you, and I'll send you funny stuff. It doesn't have to be so serious. I mean, let your personality show. And that's one thing you can do with these contacts that are in your phone. It wasn't all about business. They're warm people that you have a relationship with. So let your personality show. I've sent cold leads, Facebook leads or whatever, an email, and it's a picture of a skeleton sitting in a chair. And I wrote the subject line that says, "Still waiting." Be funny, have fun with it. These people you can do that with. I mean, that lead, I didn't care if I lost it or not. So obviously I just was trying to be silly, because I had emailed them, texted, and called, and it didn't really go anywhere. These are warm people. You can send them a bomb video text. You can send them an email with some memes that are funny or humorous. I mean, use it to its fullest capacity. I love what Rich said, and I do this all the time. I send a Bitmoji for every holiday. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'm sitting on a turkey or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a great way to reach out to those people. And that's where you need to start. And when you're starting your business, start with your sphere of influence.
Thank you, Brandy. And Rich, we'd certainly like to hear your advice to the newer agents as well. And I see a lot of numbers coming in. Lisa Hanley from Minnesota, 5,800 contacts. Wow, good for you. That's amazing. But Rich, while you're answering this, or when you're finished answering this question and advice to newer agents, I'd like you to talk about your team a little bit and how you incorporate your team into the first app, as well as just general sphere of influence prospecting.
Sure. So first starting out in the business, if I could give myself advice when I first started, it would be trying to find those people that, you naturally would sit down, and for me, those people I'd want to sit down and have a beer with. Get to know them better, and see if there's opportunities for you to do work together. I mean, now, I have relationships with a lot of really good attorneys. I have relationships with a lot of really good lenders, people that I am comfortable sitting down and having a beer with, because at the end of the day, if something bad happens, it's nice to have the relationship that you can call someone who already knows you, who already likes you, and who already trusts you, that will help you through your transaction. They have business. Talk to attorneys, talk to lenders. If you're in an attorney state, we are in Vermont. Lenders are a great source of business. Go find a lender that is similar to you, and it doesn't, share hobbies, whatever. Go find somebody that is in the business already that's also trying to grow their business, or go find somebody that's, a big producer in your marketplace and talk to them about what they do or how they're successful. Ideally landing, some people call them whales, or, the monsters that give you lots and lots of business. Go out and buy them when you can, depending on what your state will allow. Go buy them a beer, go buy them a coffee, set up a Zoom call, just make it a 15-minute call, just as a meet and greet, and get to know, and continue to follow up with those people. It is, at the end of the day, this is all relationship building. And the more relationships that you build, the more opportunities that you have, and the more doors will open for you. So start building relationships. I do love what Brandy said earlier. If you're a secret agent and nobody knows that you're actually out there willing to sell a house or willing to work, you're going to find a couple of people maybe, but you're not going to be that person that people think of when their aunt or their uncle or their friend is looking for something. So go out, build some relationships, and be genuinely you. And then to go back, so I am very fortunate. I have an amazing group of partners that I work with, teammates. So we have a very large database, and in that large database, we collect birthday cards and do all that. And we have some great staff people. Pre-COVID, at our team meetings, we'd everybody would get a stack of birthday cards with all the birthdays of their past clients that were coming up that month. And we'd have everybody handwrite their own birthday cards. And we were up to, I think we were up to like 1,500 a year. And I had went around to a local bar, and I got them to accept, what I ended up doing was making one postcard. So I had a free beer. We had a cupcake place that makes gourmet cupcakes in the area. On the postcard was also a place to go get a piece of pizza. And then the other one was like a protein smoothie shake. So we would give that as a birthday gift to all of our past clients. And all they'd have to do is pick whichever place they wanted to go to with their handwritten birthday card. They take that postcard in and say, I'd like a beer, I'd like a piece of pizza, or I'd like a cupcake, or I'd like a protein smoothie. And then, maybe once every 2 months, I'll call the cupcake place and I'll pay for all the cupcakes that I've purchased. The bar actually stopped keeping track, so they're just giving out free beers for anybody that goes in. Same thing with the pizza place. They're like, don't worry about it. We love it, because they come in and they'll buy a piece of pizza, and then they'll, bring their friends in and do all that. So I really only ended up buying cupcakes and protein smoothies, but that was a great way for us. And it's us connecting with owners in our marketplace. So, when I walk into the bar, I know the bartenders. If I go pick up a cupcake, I know the people that are at the cupcake place, even though I don't eat too many cupcakes, try to avoid them, especially now. It's just a nice way to connect in your area and do something that's nice, that's also helping other small businesses. So that's one of the ways that we connect with our past clients.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll take some last questions. We are at the top of the hour. We can stay on a couple extra minutes. So please let Brandy and Rich know if you have questions. In the meantime, keep them in mind for referrals in their respective areas. Brandy, you heard her. She'll drive all over the greater Houston area, maybe Texas. I don't know. Texas is a big state. And then Rich is covering Vermont. So the whole state, maybe, I'm not sure. I can't speak.
We have 4 offices in Vermont. If you have someone that's looking to go to Vermont, if I can't help them, I would be happy to help somebody find another agent that's in the area.
For sure. We have great Remaxers all over the country. But yes, keep them in mind for referrals. You can find them on Max Center. I'll include their contact information in the follow-up email to those of you on Zoom that have registered. And all right, so you've got a fan club, Brandy. Steve says, bring back Brandy. She's a hoot.
Well, thank you, Steve. I'm single. No, just kidding. I mean, I am, but
Oh my gosh.
I'm a mess. Hey, I got to share with you real quick. Rich is my new favorite person, just so you know, and he gave me an idea. If you're a big social media person and you're needing more engagement, I took this idea kind of and tweaked it from Rich when he talked about cupcakes. And just so you know, I never say no to a cupcake, Rich, ever. I have a cupcake addiction. So yesterday I came up with a thing, and it's called Making Monday Marvelous. And it was kind of a spinoff of what Rich did. And then another agent had done something similar. And I put out an engagement post, and it says, you can nominate somebody, but I'm going to select somebody every Monday, and they're going to get a free gift from me. And I'm just going to promote them, and I'm going to promote the business from which I'm giving you this free gift. So yesterday it was a friend of mine. She's a past client, but she's also a friend. And then I promoted Bella Mia, which is a little locally owned restaurant. And so it gave a shout out to Bella Mia. I gave a free gift to somebody else. And then other people were really engaged, and they were nominating people. I mean, it was a lot of fun, so it was a great thing from what Rich had said. I was like, let's take this in a different way, because I do something similar with the birthday cards. I'm cheap though. I do Starbucks $5 gift cards. They don't get anything too fancy, but this is once a week. I'm going to do something fun and pick somebody in my social media circle and help promote a small business. And so where I was going with that was the cupcakes and helping collaborate and building relationships with your community and your local businesses, because again, if you scratch their back, they'll scratch your back. They'll think of you, they'll remember you, and they'll appreciate you, and they'll trust you. And that's really, really important, is building that trust.
For sure. And with so many small businesses in dire straits and in uncertain futures, I think it's incredibly important to support that, as from one small business owner to the other. Okay. We just lost Rich. He must have had to drop off. Okay, we will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so, so much. And by the way, Brandy, thank you for your service. She's a military vet from the Armed Forces. We always, always appreciate that. Join us again on February 16th. We'll be talking about property tours, specifically with iSpy 360. So thank you, Brandy. You're awesome. We really appreciate it. And
Thank
everyone
you.
have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.